Hello everyone, I'm back with a new tutorial and short showcase. Today I'm going to show you how the new render pipeline editor works and what kind of capabilities you can expect from it. For this, my idea was to change a very old map we had thanks to my wife that was compromised of different islands, but back then we didn't have water rendering and we still don't, but we can. With the new rendering editor we can add water rendering without changing anything within the engine itself, only using our own custom shaders and custom render methods. So I have here some water shader, vertex with displacement to have waves, the fragment for the rendering, and the render methods with custom properties you can alter within your own render methods. Let's see how that works. This is a map from a very old video, if you recall, and it does have some watery background, a skybox with water under it, but it doesn't have any water in reality. So what we can do is we switch to the editor, then there is a change render pipeline button here. Clicking that shows you the whole render pipeline of the engine itself, meaning you can change anything in the engine rendering wise, and everything you see is rendered by this. This is not a post-processing pipeline, this is the actual render pipeline. When you right click here, you see all the shaders you have available to the engine, and we want the water shader. So I choose the water shader, it creates a node, the water shader takes a directional shadow map, and then it takes a point shadow map, and then outputs a color to the screen and the depth to the screen. This is how you wire your input output. Then I need to choose what kind of texture we want the output. So the final color will be in screen placeholder and depth will be the screen depth placeholder, because we cannot really use the screen itself, even though it is internally converted to it. We don't use to mention any cameras. This is for setting the light cameras, third person camera, any custom cameras. This also doesn't try to reach any world objects, therefore you don't need to care about the object texture render, but we do care about the render settings. We don't need to have any cool changes. We don't need blending because this is a low poly water shader. We don't care if it's actually transparent or not. We need the depth test and depth right. We don't want to clear because it's going to mesh with everything else. And then this is the render resolution. This is hard coded as a fallback, but you can use the options itself. I don't remember the options name, but I can take it from others because they all have the same thing. And then display with, these are the option names. As you put the option name, it will be overridden by the option itself instead of the hard-coded value. Then you need to choose the render methods. All render methods available are also in here. You can use this to have different characters using different effects, etc. But we will use the water render method. As I select it, the options it exposes automatically comes up here. The things I know about this shader is from -50 to +50 is not big enough. So let's make this thing a little bit bigger. From 250 to 250 seems good to me. Then it tells you what is the height you want and then what is the triangle size you want. I don't want to change either. Then I click build pipeline and then it automatically builds a pipeline for us, but it can be non-optimal. In this case, the water is in the end because it doesn't know if the particles are supposed to be earlier than water or lines. So I have a feeling that this thing should be before SkyCube, because the sky rendering is fill rate heavy. So if we don't need to render the sky because it's behind the water, we shouldn't. Then you say build with this order. And then it says pipeline is built. I can activate this. We had a 1 frame-ish change. I want to keep it. Let's see. Oh, we have water. We have water around. Apparently 250 is not enough either, but we do have water. But I have one issue. It looks like this water is tiny bit too low. Let's make it a little bit higher, maybe 2. Then build again, then move again, build, and activate. And keep. Yeah. Now we have some wavy, very low poly, non-transparent water. So it's this easy to change the rendering itself. If you want to add post-processing effects, it's like this. If you want to add effects per object, it's like this. And if you want to build your own extra world thingy, it's like this. The sample code for both shader and the render method will be in the source code distribution. So you can check it out, you can alter it, and use it as an example. Good luck.